All right, what's up, y'all? For those that don't know, my name is Joey. Most people know me by Snowroc. Uh, I got a story. This goes in the line of the ones I've been doing about when I first went to county jail, first caught my offense as an adult. I told a story starting with county jail, 1991. So if you want to go back and check those out, you get caught up. This one is later on down the line. I've been in county jail for a while. I've been through a bunch of stuff, fights and a couple riots. And now, I was incarcerated for armed robbery. So the drug dealer that I robbed called the police and said I stole the drugs he was selling out his house. Still cracks me up every day. Wasn't cracking me up when I was doing the time for it. So this is the day I get sentenced. All this happens right after that. So the day I get sentenced, for most people that don't know, when you in county jail, you know what I mean, it's nothing but, you know what I'm saying, men in there, you know. So everybody, you know what I'm saying, got their chest out. They too tough, and you know what I mean, you can't let nobody see no weakness or show no cracks, or somebody's gonna take advantage of you. And that's really the way it is in there. So I'm young, and you know what I'm saying, but when I got that time, I had an older cellie, you know what I mean, and he was from LA, Santa Ana, Watergate. And he knew, you know what I'm saying, when I came back, you know what I mean, and he seen, you know what I'm saying, he said, go up in the cell, cuz just go up in the cell. So he went up in the cell. I went up in the cell, and then he accidentally locked the door. And then he just bounced. So I just, you know what I'm saying, went laid on the rack and put my face in that pillow, man, and let go. Man, I cried like a little girl. You know what I mean? I was scared. I was going to prison. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, I didn't know if I was going to survive, if I was going to live or die, or, you know what I'm saying, what was going to happen to me, what could happen to me. All this is running through my head. So mentally, I'm kind of messed up, But in prison, in any incarceration, you know what I'm saying? You're surrounded by all men. So when men are around men, they're going to show that they're tough and they can do this, and I can lift more than you. I can do this. I can, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the way it is when you're in county jail. You can't show no weaknesses. You can't show no softness. You can't show no cracks, because if you do, somebody's going to take advantage of that, and that's reality, because it's some people in there that prey on weakness, that they look for it, they search for it, they hope for it, they pray for it, and that's, you know what I'm saying, when they get one, it goes bad, and I've seen it happen. I've seen all kinds of crazy things. uh like I said, I spent more almost half my life in some kind of incarceration. It's sad, but it's true. And I'm just, you know what I mean, I'm just here to tell you, man, look, do something different. Go get your education, man. You know what I'm saying? Because all the hustling, all the everything I did, it didn't even equal out. You know what I mean? For all the time I did inside of a cage, working for pennies. I sat up in a cage for decades, for 2 decades, for over 20 years. I was in the California state prison system, and it wasn't a good time during the '90s, and it was a lot going on in prison and in the world, and you know what I'm saying. I sat in the cage when a lot of it was going on, you know, and so we gonna go back. Let me get back on track. So this we back in 1991 in this county jail. So I just got found guilty. And then my cellie, you know what I'm saying, older cat, you know what I mean, he knew, you know what I'm saying, how I was feeling, and he locked me in my cell, giving me time to, you know what I'm saying, get the shit out of my system, because, you know what I mean, he knew. And he told me later, you know what I mean, he was like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, man, you're looking out. You know what I mean? He's like, man, I've been there. I've been there. You're going to be all right. So I'm going to be all right. So now that mask is back on, the armor is back on. I'm ready to go, whatever. And that's the way you have to be in there. If I survived, so I did what I had to do. So now we in South Bay County Jail, and so the whites in this tank, they already know I'm established. I'm not going nowhere. You know what I mean? This is, what I'm saying, this is what it is. If anybody got a problem, there's an open invitation for a one-on-one, you know. And, what I'm saying, after a couple of them, they stop. They send their biggest, and then he got knocked down. Then they send one that was tough, and then he got knocked down. Then they said, man, look, let's just leave this guy alone. Let's just leave this guy alone. Because if you try anything else, if you try a riot, y'all, it's not that many whites. You know what I mean? So that helped save my life. Don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? I used whatever I could. So now the head white dude in this tank, he's been here, but he wasn't the head. The other head has left and went to prison because most people are in this tank. They're waiting to go to prison. They've already got sentenced, and what I'm saying, they're just waiting for a bus to take them to prison. And when you go to prison, you go to Donovan to the reception yard. So I ain't never been. I'm just hearing how it's supposed to go. Stock up on envelopes because that's money. And you can use that to purchase whatever you need when you get wherever you're going. So I don't have nobody sending me nothing. So I got to hustle and get whatever I can get, however I can get it. So there was a white dude, and he was a big fat white dude. So his name was Tons, 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 big old fat. You know what I'm saying? So he was in the cell with the white boys for like a day or two. Then he moved into a cell with a Linda Vista Crip who was Asian. He's other. And so after this, what I'm saying, when he first came in, he didn't say he was a Crip. When he first came in, he was over there with them. So then when he seen me and how I get down, he figured it's okay. So this is a reality of what's going on. So the white boys is mad because he was in the cell with them. So they come to me and they're like, "Hey, Snow." So now okay, now I'm getting ahead of myself. So now Tons, when he came over and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a Crip." So I checked him. I'm like, "You a Crip? Where you from?" He said, "I'm from 1303. What is 1303? Because we don't do that 1303 shit, you know what I mean? But it's MC. What is MC? Mira Mesa Crips. Mira Mesa Crips? Ain't no Crips in Mira Mesa. So, I'm from neighborhood. I'm from Southeast San Diego. I'm from the hood, period. You know what I mean? The hood is front line. You know what I'm saying? We got bloods on three sides of my neighborhood. We right there. And we stand tall. You know what I'm saying? We ain't, you know what I'm saying, anybody, you know what I'm saying, growing up, I don't care where you from, you know what I'm saying, it's schools you gotta go to, and junior high, you go in the Gompers. In my days, when, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't, after I got kicked out of school, before I even went to the school, I was out there. You know what I mean? Because when Gompers lets out, it's on. You know what I mean? So it's a whole bunch of us on. And like, you see somebody with red or something, you know what I mean? Somebody with greens, that was the way it was. You ask anybody from San Diego, they'll tell you. So anyway, this is San Diego. It's South Bay County Jail. This is the high power tank. This is, you know, this is where the you know what I mean. So this dude, he's already been sentenced. He's going to prison. So I don't know where he came from before, and I don't think he was a Crip where he was. So he comes over here and he thinks it's okay. So when he came over, I told him, I'm saying, I got at him, and he told me, I'm saying, he's from Mira Mesa Crips. He's like, okay, I'm saying, so, all right, well, look, man, I'm saying, you got to look out for the car. I'm saying, I'm gonna need some grub, man. I ain't got shit. The homies ain't got nothing. Oh, man, I'm saying, I'm going to the canteen. I'm saying, I got a full draw. I got you. I'm saying, I make out a list for this much, and I get it for you. I got you. All right, all right. So now, I'm saying, canteen is coming up. you know, we go need that. So okay, I'm saying, he can hang out, right? But now the white boys, the head white dude comes to get at me. Hey, Snow, this dude, when he was in the cell with us, he was in the cell with this dude right here. This dude right here said, tell him what he said. Man, he was in there, he was saying N-word jokes, you know what I mean, when he was in the cell with us. And then, you know what I'm saying, the next thing, 2 days later, we find out he's a Crip and he's moving out of the cell. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, look, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And then so the white dude's like, man, you know what I'm saying? He's one of ours. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to deal with him. And I'm going to take his canteen. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Well, he told me, you know what I'm saying? He going to give me half for taking care of him for security. You know what I'm saying? So you fucking up my money now. And he's like, no, no, I'll give you, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'll take care of you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to take his shit and whoop his ass. I'm like, hey, well, you know what I'm saying? As long as you know how I am, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's one on one, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can do what you do. But like I say, he owed me half that bag. He's like, man, I got you, you know? So he went about his business. So here it is the next day. So I'm sitting, I'm like, man, look, now tomorrow is canteen. So, I personally, you know what I'm saying, if somebody has some foul plans in store for me, I hope somebody would let me know. So I let the dude know. I told him, I'm like, look, man, you know what I'm saying, the white boy told me that they gonna take your canteen and whoop your ass. I told him it had to be one on one, so it's gonna be that one right there, cause he think he tough. And he a little shot caller in his tank right now. So look here, man, I'm gonna call him up here. When he comes up here, you know what I'm saying, I'm telling you, you wanna holler at him. And when he comes up in the cell, just take off on him. I'm gonna close the door, you know what I'm saying, so don't nobody see nothing. And you handle your business. So he's looking and I see the fear in his eye. This motherfucker's scared. I don't think he wants to fight nobody. But this ain't a situation about what you want to do. This is a situation about if you don't do what you have to do, you're not gonna survive in here. So, I call a white boy shot caller, hey man, come here, let me holler at you. So he comes up, we're on the second floor, on the tier on the rail in front of the cells. And we leaning on the rail. So I talked to him and I'm like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, look, I talked to the boy Tons and I told him, you know what I'm saying, that you was gonna take his shit. And he said he wanted to get out. So, you know what I'm saying, hey Tons. So he in there waiting on me. So I go on and walk away. Because this one on one, I'm not gonna get involved, you know what I'm saying? Y'all handle your business. So this dude, Tons, comes walking out of the cell and stands on the tier talking to the guy. And I'm talking about when you was in the cell, all you had to do was wait for him to come in or just get down there. You know what I mean? Whatever. Just handle your business. Get off something. But he didn't. He just sat there and let the dude tell him that he was going to take his shit. And if he has any problem with that, he's going to whoop his ass. So, you know what I mean? That's the way it's going to be. And then, you know what I'm saying, he let him walk away. So I'm off to the back in the TV area watching the whole situation. And I see all this. And I'm just like, man, what the hell is wrong with this dude? But it wasn't any. You know what I mean? He wasn't cut from that cloth. He wasn't going to make it. I don't know. Some people, you know what I'm saying, some people can step up and rise to the occasion. I didn't see none of that in him. So after the incident, now tomorrow he's going to get his canteen. But I sat on the tier and talked to him until it was time to go in. And I told him, man, you going to the pen for 4 years. I'm going to the pen for 4 years. You can get out early and do two if you be good. The white boys is going to try to kill you if you go up in there and tell them you a Crip. Ain't nobody going to support you because you ain't supporting yourself. When you get to prison, man, you go over there with them white boys and you tell them you don't bang. And I didn't realize this, but this was the same thing my homeboy told me. This is what he told me to do. And he did it because he cared. You know what I mean? But I did it because, you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to see this dude crash. He wasn't going to make it. You know what I mean? Tons. If you out there, wherever you at, you know what I'm saying? I hope you safe. I hope you good. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not crippin' no more. You know what I'm saying? But that was a part of your life, apparently. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? If you ever hear about this, man, tap in with your boy, man. You know, I hope everything went well for you because, you know what I'm saying, the story goes on, you know what I'm saying? Because later on down the line, when I was in prison, he went to prison. See, this is what saved him. He was supposed to get his canteen taken the next day. But then early that morning, they picked him up and put him on the bus to go to prison. So he got away from the fight. He got away from that white boy that was going to take his shit. He got away from having to give me half that shit. I wasn't happy about that. I was looking, man, he'd be hungry up in there. So he ended up going to prison. But I told you I got sentenced. I'm going to be going to prison too. I came to prison and I hit the reception yard and he was there. And he had done what I told him to do. He went with the whites. And he just, you know what I'm saying, told him he didn't bang. When I got there and I hit the yard and I was walking the track with the homies, you know what I mean? He was playing softball. What's up, Snow? He hollered. And then, you know what I'm saying, situation happened, you know what I'm saying, you'll hear about it, but yard ends up on lockdown. I end up in the 16 building again. And I'm walking from a visit and he was in line going to canteen. So he gave me a whole can of tobacco. So if anybody knows, in prison, tobacco you could sell, make money. And 16 building was the lockup building. So I had all the tobacco. I was a millionaire. I had a million envelopes, literally. When I left there, I had, you know what I'm saying, stacks and stacks of envelopes. And that's like cash money for wherever you go. But like I said, I'm a hustler. So anyway, that's the end. That's the story for Tons. Hopefully he's doing well, you know what I'm saying, stayed out of prison, living his life, and, you know what I'm saying, didn't get caught up in the other bullshit and the prison politics because people will bring up your past. Oh, you were this, you were that, to make you go do what they didn't want to do. But anyway, another story, you know what I'm saying? I got a few of them. Y'all stay tuned. Hey, if you like what you hear, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that share. Share this with somebody. It helps my little channel. Thank you. It's appreciated.